Why is it that when people ask you if you're a Christian, you don't really answer it?
Because I like to think that Jordan Peterson's spiritual journey is a positive object lesson for our entire society, even though it does come with negatives. In his case, the primary negative has been his seeming profound embrace of the Christ-centered worldview, and then his blurriness around the same subject when he's asked about his commitment. This happened most famously when he went on Jubilee and he rejected the label of Christian altogether. Now, thankfully, he's still talking to people, and George Janko, who also had a very public faith journey, asked him straight up, why are you that way?
My last question for you, and it's such a curious one that a lot of people want to know. Why is it that when people ask you if you're a Christian, you don't really answer it like straightforward, like, yeah, I follow Jesus Christ, I'm a Christian?
Because the question is almost always manipulative. That it's not really a question. It's a demand. It's a veiled demand that I declare my allegiance in the manner they see fit at that moment. It's like, no, thank you. First of all, that's a relatively private matter. And second, just exactly what the hell are you up to?
Okay, I don't think I'm the first to think, all right, he may have gotten jaded back there somewhere. You know, I wonder what happened to him. There had to be a conversation that really kind of sent him down that path, but who knows? But that's interesting thing to say.
So that's the general.
But what about the verse?
I'm not interested in trumpeting it. I'm still figuring things out, and I'm trying to explain what I'm learning as I go. And I don't want to parade my virtuous faith, as a proclamation. I think that's false.
I'm 110% behind anyone going on a journey and searching and wondering. Jesus said, seek and you will find. He said, count the cost. You can examine and wonder and grapple with and push back. And I think he's done a whole lot of that. And that's a very, very good thing. And if you look at the book of Acts and you look at Paul's evangelism in the ancient world, there were 3 reactions to his message, not just 2. It wasn't just believe or not believe. It was some believed, some resisted, and some wanted to know more. That is a category we oftentimes leave out, and I think to our own detriment, because sometimes people will believe out of crisis. I did that a bunch. When I was growing up, I would kind of crash out on drugs, and then I'd get fixed up because I'd call out to God, but then I'd drift right back where I was, and I went through that cycle over and over and over again until one time it was kind of the final real one that really had me to where I believed in the real sense. And belief is always 3 things. It's number 1, it is facts. There are certain things that you do believe that are facts. It's knowing those facts. Next is really believing those facts in your mind. But then the final one is entrusting your life to those facts. And that's a whole different thing. And I think that's what he's grappling with. And we're going to know, and here's the important thing, we're going to know when he believes instead of everybody wondering when he gets baptized. That's what baptism's for. If you've never been baptized, you're a follower of Jesus, it's got lots of layers of meaning, but baptism is critical because it's the public announcement of, I used to be this, now I'm that. I'm crossing the river. My old person is dead, my new person is alive. And so there is a proclamation time, but we're going to give him some space to search.
People can decide for themselves if they're interested what I'm up to by watching. If they're interested what I do, they can derive their own conclusions and
judge them by their fruit.
That's the theory. Yeah. Right.
Judge them by their fruit.
When people say too that they're a Christian, I actually generally don't really know what they mean. I mean, you guys laid it out and you provided some indication of what you meant in this decision that you just made. That's actually worth attending to, in my estimation, more than a casual declaration. And so I'm not that interested in casual declarations. And people declare their Christianity all the time. And part of me thinks, not everyone who says, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, right? So be careful what you claim. Amen. It's a high bar.
Well, and that's a good note on his end. I mean, a lot of us need to take that more seriously because maybe we're raised in that environment. We said a little prayer or something like that. But to his credit, as he's examining and looking, he's seeing there's a whole lot more going on than just some kind of simple declaration or a little ritual.
I agree. And I can tell this is very sensitive to you because I feel like you know what it is? That Jubilee thing isn't your first rodeo. It's not the first time you've been around wolves that are trying to manipulate you. And I understand that it is a touchy subject, but you're such a good reflection of Christians. And you're such a good outspoken man that's actually doing something not only for our country, but for the country that you came from. And so I just find that weak men or weak women will look at that as a way of you saying, no, 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 I don't want to be a part of that. When they're watching you be so wise and you just waving the flag of confidently, even if they're trying to approach you in a negative way, be like, no, I am a man of God. Jesus is my God. Then does the Bible verse scare you when they say that they'll deny me in public? I'll deny you in front of my Father. Because you're denying them because they're trying to set you in a trap. But would you not have confidence?
I'm denying the questioner ownership over my tongue. I don't like having people put words in my mouth.
So what do you classify yourself as? Like if Jesus came down right now, would you be his son? Or would you be somebody who's studying Jesus? Like where does your heart lie right now? Who is your God?
That's a great way to put it. He did a very good job with that question.
And I'm not trying to trap you or to be disrespectful. I just want to know where your heart lies, because the wisdom that you're pouring out into people is something that, dude, we promote it on our show and we learn from it and we grow from it. So I just want to know who, because I see you as my mentor.
What do you think?
And that was a great move on his part as well.
You're watching?
I see you as, my perspective is that you are a God-fearing man. You're learning and you're taking what God gave you and you're teaching others. From your fruits, if I tasted them, I said, this is a righteous man that's after God's heart, like David. But then your mouth will say, who says that I'm a Christian? So it does confuse me as somebody who does watch you.
That's a good answer.
And you just got to watch why people like both of these gentlemen, because that was some genuine honesty there. And people really listen and tune into Peterson to this day because you can just tell he's at least sincere.
I don't know how to add to that, to what you already said. I'm trying to find my way, and I'm communicating with people about that voyage as clearly as I possibly can.
You're just being honest. You're back to when you were writing everything and it's just the truth. As of right now, Dr. Jordan Peterson is a man after God's heart, and you're finding it. Is this the best way that they could describe you?
That's good.
I like that. And also I see that.
And that is good. After one of the longest pauses I've ever seen in the history of video, TV. That's why I love the format, is because you got to see someone think and process. And I think he's really obviously wrestling with a whole lot of data, because in that case, he comes across to me as like he's representative of the journey of many modern people. We have this Christian backdrop, but we also had laid on top of it all this secularism. And that's how Jordan Peterson, I discovered him, and I think that's how he found his where he is. He came to the end of secularism through an honest seeking of the truth. He's a well-informed person. He's very bright. He's educated, but he was also searching for truth over ideology. He had his ideology, but you could tell he went beyond that. I mean, he went so far as to go into a prison and study evil, not only in others, but it ended up being studying it about himself and what goes on in human beings. And as a result, he studied totalitarianism, and that's why he started giving warnings about how naturalism and secularism don't work. They have this end, and it turned him back towards the Christian worldview. And now I think he's processing between his own mythological interpretations of it and psychological interpretations of it and the reality of it. And you can see him caught in that. And when you finally come to the reality, that's when you do declare your allegiance and you're baptized and you say out loud, this is going to be who I am and what my life is going to look like. So continue to pray for him. I will, and pray for you. I mean, you need to search. You need to come to the place where you really truly believe. And if you struggle, leave us some comments in the comments section and ask about these things and wonder about these things. But it's always going to come to that point where there's finally going to be a thing of, okay, you're real, and I'm going to step over the line. If you enjoyed your Jordan Peterson, we have another video here that has him talking to Piers Morgan about Islam, where he still reflects the same way. And if you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. We've got some things we want to do with content and just kind of raising the level around here in the future, and that helps a whole lot. Hope that helps. See you next time.